Joining us to also look at this matter with this on this strike is Dr. Adeyemi Daramola. He's a senior lecturer at the Department of English, University of Lagos. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Are you on strike?
Of course we are, and indeed I am, because I'm a member of ASUU. And may I correct an impression, and I'll be glad if Channel Television will take it today, that we really don't have a faction at the University of Lagos. What we have is a group of young intellectuals, young in the sense that we are more pragmatic, who have alternative positions about all the matters that concern ASUU.
Are you a member of that particular group?
I'm a member, I'm one of the leaders of that group.
Tell us your own view on this matter.
Now, there was, since July 1st, when we started the strike, there was no meeting of ASUU branch, University of Lagos, that I didn't attend. And I've said it crystal clear that please publicize our position. We're not fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for the nation. So there was this lack of communication, not only between members of the ASUU University of Lagos branch and the national executive. You won't believe it that it is because some of us plan to hold a meeting on Monday 2 weeks ago, that ASUU Unilag branch woke up and started calling meetings almost every day. Now, the alternative point of view is that ASUU is not communicating. Two, ASUU has assumed, and they don't like to hear this, what I call an oracular position. There's a way you talk about the product. The ASUU problem is a kind of product from the linguistic perspective that I belong. And there's what we call a process. The two have to go together. We have a case to ask the federal government to do what they perhaps don't even want to do, because I'm not a government spokesperson at all.
What is that?
The government ought to revitalize the university system. Believe me, it's horrible if you see the way our students live in the hostels. The hostel that is meant for 2 or 4 people have the university administration formally allocating 10 there. And you know the system in Nigeria, whereby there are squatters. I thank God I went to universities here and abroad, and I know what obtained abroad. You see, so we actually need to revitalize the system in the university, but ASUU isn't going about it properly. Look at it. ASUU are intellectuals, but to me, their postures are unintellectual in many ways. You know,
you want to give us examples?
Example, one, the federal government and the Nigerian community have said that ASUU should provide an alternative way to strike. And I thought, as intellectuals, we should have held a meeting. We should have held series of meetings. The NEC ASUU should have called meetings. And you won't believe it, I've got 2 ideas about a system, the university system, whereby there will be no strike. As Professor Femi Otubajo just said, I've said it clearly. We need a pressure group comprising eminent personalities like the Sultan of Sokoto, the Omonoba or Radio of Benin, the Alaafin of Oyo, and many like that. The pressure group should consist of members in the industry. And we have many people who have made their mark in truth in the industries. We have ex-leaders in the military and the civilian heads of state. If ASUU can sit down, this is a proposition. I'm not saying it's final. This is where we should be discussed as intellectuals. We are meant to be the light of this country.
So you can be in discussion without the schools shut.
When we get to a problem, we send the pressure group to the government because they have to listen. That's one proposition. Another proposition is our students. If indeed we are teachers, because I believe teachers are like pastors, they have to be called. Perhaps, and as expected, the university is a place where those who are not supposed to be there are there, perhaps, even as lecturers. That's my mind. Because I think they are the ones causing a lot of problems. If we have trained our students properly, the university I attended abroad for my PhD, I was the only black person who represented students, 170 PhD students, on the university senate. The university in Nigeria should involve students. Students should be members of every committee in the university. When they know how you are doing things, then they will ask you, and they will go to tell their mates that this is what these people are doing. But the university administrative system is one that the students don't seem to do anything. They don't seem to be involved in the administration. So if ASUU, the second proposition that I have is that ASUU should liaise properly with students. Instead of closing down the university for 6 months, why can't we organize our students properly? If they believe in what we are doing, if we are really fighting for them, why can't they be made to go to the National Assembly? Students that are properly organized.
If I may come in here.
Yes, please.
Your president, we had him, I think, 2 days ago
yes.
on the show, where he talked about the fact that student union governments are no longer in existence, so to speak. And that's one of the things that ASUU is fighting when they say revitalize the institutions, is so that we can have viable student union governments so that this kind of issues you're talking about can be taken care of. Is that not part of it?
I said it in the congregation, University of Lagos. I said to the Vice Chancellor and the management of the university that giving the students academic instruction is insufficient if we don't train them for leadership. Many universities in Nigeria don't have student union. It's very sad. This is what I'm saying. We aren't giving good leadership to the students, not in terms of product, but in terms of process. Now, ASUU should have a lot of things to do. There are a lot of things we ought to do. For example, apart from that, these students should be able to fight in some way. Instead of shutting down the university for 5 months, they probably go to the National Assembly for 2 days. And just their leaders, not all of them. So we don't have leaders in the country, and it's very bad. And that's one of the things ASUU should be fighting for. Do you know that I get very sad that members of the community, Nigerian community, say that all of us sell handouts. They say that all of us exchange money for marks, and ASUU will keep quiet, only to have strong muscles to find the government. So they aren't purposeful.
So these are other issues concerning bedeviling the education sector.
Absolutely. Because, you see, those of us who are teachers who are really called, how will I exchange? I went to the University of Lagos for my first and second degrees. Nobody sold handouts to me, at least in English department. So why will I now turn back if I'm really a good teacher and ask students to pay me money for marks? That is the mind that the community has. Those are the things ASUU should fight for.